strategies that will promote organizational success. No? So again, this new role requires HR professionals to possess a far-ranging skill set, no, including the ability to analyze data, develop and execute plans, and build relationships with key stakeholders. No? So, with that in mind, no, so we, definitely we have a lot of things that we bring to the table, as they say. And if you notice here, the focus is really on the skill set, no? Because I believe the future of HR would really rely on skill sets. Okay, so that's why I found this topic very fitting at the start of the year of 2024. Okay. Now, let's go deeper, no, and talk about when you talk about the HR roles and responsibilities. So, what are the essential, no? Because that's the main topic that we have, no. So, we're going to talk about what are those roles and responsibilities, and we're going to look at some examples and applications on how we can be able to do that. Okay. So, first off, let's look at the roles, no. When you look at the roles, here is a list of things that on top of everything that we're doing, this is what we're expected to do. No, so first off, we are to create an attractive environment for talents through high performance corporate culture. So as an HR, we have to be able to work with our leaders, no, to be able to create an environment, no, because obviously as an HR professional, we always have to remember that one of the things that we are to do, no, in our organization is to attract people towards our companies. No, that's why that's one of our roles. No? Second is to build structures promoting high performance, communication, new ideas, and being nimble in product development. No? So it's very important for us to realize that for us to promote high performance, it has to be something that we do constantly and it has to be organic. No? So that's one of the roles that we play in the organization. No? Number three is to create the competitive advantage through people. No? So the term competitive advantage would always come up when we talk about coming up with strategies. No? So, and rightly so, competitive advantage is actually looking at the strength, no, and opportunity, no. So when the strength and opportunity, if you're familiar with the SWOT analysis, the competitive advantage arises, no? So that means simply put, competitive advantage is something, no, that only that company, or in this case that person, will be able to deliver, no. So that we have to create. So that means we have to discover talents to our people. Okay. Number four is to be a strategic partner to the leadership team. Okay. And again, there are different discussions about being a strategic partner. But one of the things that I always try to emphasize is to be able to understand uh, the perspective of your leaders. That becomes your key to becoming a strategic partner to the leadership team. No? Number five key roles is to drive performance and efficiency. So again, if you notice, there's really that emphasis on performance because I do believe that performance is one of the cornerstone of where we could be really strategic for the business. Okay. Number six role is to support change management. Change management is something that that's already familiar to us, especially if you've gone through the pandemic. No, so change management is something that we need to be comfortable. No, as they say, the only constant in life is change. No, so we have to be able to adapt. Learn new things and try out new things for ourselves. No? Number seven key role is to close the skills and competencies gap. Okay, so that means that if we are to close our competency gap, no, we start with ourselves. No, I always encourage that as HR professional, we have to look upon ourselves and say, what skills and competencies should I possess, and if I am not proficient in it, what can I do to be able to improve on it? Okay. And finally, number eight is to ensure compliance. Okay, so that's definitely a role that we have to play. We have to ensure that compliance is something that we encourage with our leaders, no? Especially we have laws that we have to follow. No, that's why as HR we are tasked to be able to ensure that the company is with compliance. So those are the key roles, no, that we play in the company. Now let's look at the responsibilities. No, so for responsibilities, if you notice here, it's almost very closely related to the roles that I have mentioned to you. No, so starting off with number one, okay, yung setting organizational design principles and rules for job design. So, again, no, the basic building block of HR or human resource are jobs. No? So that means as an HR professional, we are expected not to be an expert on the job itself, but to learn how to be able to craft jobs that will actually be meaningful. No? Because a lot of employees right now are really looking for jobs that are meaningful and with purpose. Okay? So we have to learn how to be able to job design. Okay? And I think last year, if I remember it right, we had a session on that. Hopefully this year, if time will permit, we will try to again hold a session about job design because I think this is of key importance for the HR professional. No? Number two key responsibility is to have the strategic workforce planning and budgeting. Okay? Planning and budgeting is one of the things that we have to be really good at, and we are responsible for it. Again, planning is looking forward. No, another term for planning is allocation. Diba? So you allocate resources that are given to you. No, resources to us could come into terms of the what we call the 5 M's. No, so when we talk about resources in the company, diba, meron tayong tinatawag na 5 M's. No, you have the manpower, money, machineries, method, no, and materials. So those are the 5 M's that are given a manager. And rightly so, for HR, you are also responsible for managing those resources. No? Number three, key responsibility is to recruit and move talents. No? So sabi nga natin, we have to be able to be responsible for recruiting them and be able to also promote or at least move talents. When we say move talents, kasi we need to be able to search saan dapat yung talent natin. Okay? So, recruiting is not just that's the front end, pero yung mobility of our talents is also our responsibility. Okay? So, dapat meron tayong somehow that kind of, and we try to search for good talents, people who have the potential, and what opportunities can we provide them with, okay, so that they will be engaged. So that's another responsibility. No? Number four, designing and managing performance management systems. So I guess most of us here, especially if you're in the field of HR, you will always be involved in terms of managing the performance management. No? That means, again, no, performance management is not about just the appraisal. No, performance management is a cycle of activities. No, this could be linear, this could be agile in this case. No, but definitely managing performance is how you're able to connect individual performance to organizational performance. That means no that the individual, when they are performing well, should be able to contribute to overall the organizational performance. Okay? So that's one of our key responsibility. No? Number five is monitoring and measuring employee morale and employee satisfaction. So definitely, we have to take the pulse of our employees from time to time. For some organizations, it might be an annual thing that we do or check our employee morale and the employee satisfaction. Okay, so that's one of our responsibility to make sure that the employee morale is checked. No, remember, employee morale is the general feeling of employees. No, so kumbaga, it's like a temperature check. No, kamusta ba yung employees natin? And when it comes to employee satisfaction, we look at is this person satisfied in the way we provide the jobs to them. No, so definitely number five is really one of our key responsibilities. Okay, number six is to look at people operations, including the employee life cycle and HR policies and procedures. What do we mean by this? No, because nowadays, no, we have as HR, we have to consider that employees have a life cycle. No? So life cycle would mean that, you look at the person from the time that you hired, and then eventually onboarding happens, performance management happens, and of course, you'd like to prevent the person from exiting. But if you cannot prevent it, you have to ensure that the person is treated very well when it comes to the exit. Okay? So again, number 6 is an important aspect of people operations. And number 7 is, of course, designing and maintaining the competitive compensation strategy and policy. No, and hence, that's why, as you can see in our program offerings, we regularly provide seminars or trainings on how to design salary structure. And that's again, that's one of my I guess my forte, no, because I have done several seminars about this since I think 2010, if I remember it right, no, and I have done several projects on compensation as well for total rewards. So that's why I'm both a instructor and at the same time practitioner when it comes to the aspect of compensation. Okay, so yeah, so those are again the key responsibilities that we have when it comes to human resources. No? Now let's look this time, since we've talked about the roles and responsibilities. Let's talk about this time the aspect of the skills and competencies that is required of us. At the start of the year, we'll try to come up with a plan. No, and I encourage you, if you're an HR professional now, I encourage you to actually consider what would be my development plan for the next at least 1 or 2 years. No, so I encourage that for you. No, so dapat alam mo ano yung i-develop ko sa sarili ko, at least on the skill set. No, and hopefully this list that I'm going to talk to you about would be something that you can look into, no, and consider what can I do, no. So nowadays there are several learning platforms available to us. Okay, the resources are given to us, so it's a matter of how we're going to utilize this for our own benefit and for our own advantage. Okay, so let's now go deeper for our skills and competencies. No, so when you talk about HR skills, these are specific learnable abilities that enable HR professionals to effectively perform the task and responsibilities. Kasi kanina diniscuss natin yan. So this can include the following, like knowledge of the HR laws and regulations. So yung dapat alam mo kung ano yung labor law, for example. No? Gone are the days that lawyers are the only ones who know about the HR laws. No? So be aware of what the HR laws and regulations are. Okay, so that's one example of a skill. No, another skill could be employee relations. So employee relations could span not just about implementing disciplinary action, but actually creating a harmonious relationship between the employer and the employee. So that would mean, for example, that I should know how to intervene between the concerns of an employee and also the concerns of a manager. No, so that's a skill set, no, that we have to learn. Another, of course, would be recruitment and selection. No? So recruitment and selection is definitely a skill set that we can learn. So remember, HR skills can be acquired through education, through training, and also on-the-job experience. No? So again, I'm a believer of on-the-job experience. That's why, it's good that you attend training. It's good that you get your certification and so, but nothing will beat on the job experience, no? Because that kind of experience, no, will enable you to be confident. Okay, so don't just be confident just because you have a certificate. Be confident because you know how to do it. No, that's the proof that your confidence is really authentic. Okay, so don't just rely on seminars alone, certificates alone. No, you have to do it. You have to have experience. Okay. Now, when it comes to HR competencies, here are examples of competencies that might be required of us as HR professionals. So definitely, top of the list would be leadership. Okay? So as they say, the first person that you have to lead in HR are not the employees. It's yourself. Okay? If you are an HR professional, you have to learn how to lead yourself. Okay? An example of that is always be on time. Okay, if you are to hold a meeting, make sure that you're the first person to come on the meeting. That's an example of leadership. Okay. Second competency is communication skills. So definitely, no, I admire people in HR who are very good at communication, both verbally and on the written format. So try to again hone your skills and competencies on communication because that will be your edge with regards to your profession. Okay. Another competency could be critical thinking. Okay. So critical thinking is necessary for us to be able to think, on difficult situations. No? Because uh, we all know that HR is not a bed of roses. There will be challenges, there will be problems, and in this case, we need to learn how to think critically. No, we have to learn how to balance information that's given to us. We have to learn how to reason logically, and at the same time, be able to criticize some information that are given to us. No? So wag lang tayong basta tatanggap ng information without hindi na natin iniisip kung ano bang implication nito. So critical thinking is an important skill, not just for the HR, but if you'd want to become an HR supervisor, an HR manager, or even a director or an executive. Okay? So those are competencies. Problem solving definitely is part of ano. So yung ating daily problem solving is important for us. Another competency is ethical behavior. No? So we have to learn how to be ethical in what we do. No? And of course, another competency that is required of us would be emotional intelligence, no? Of which, no, konting promotion, I'm a certified emotional intelligence as well. And I believe, no, that HR should possess their emotional intelligence, no? So, kailangan marunong tayo mag-handle ng ating emotions at the same time, emotions ng ibang tao. Okay? Another would be cultural competence, no? Learning how to be able to manage culture, no? And finally, also another one is strategic thinking. So these are, again, set of HR competencies that we are to possess as an HR professional. Okay? Now, going back, what do we mean by in the first place? What are competencies in this case? Competency, no, can be defined here as a multidimensional concept that will encapsulate all the various attributes, qualities, and characteristics of an individual that is needed, no, to effectively and efficiently perform a specific task, a specific job, or a specific role. Okay? This is the definition of a competency. Now, generally, there are three types of competencies that you can look into. So, ano ba yung three types of competencies that we have? We have the technical, we have the behavioral, and we have the core competencies. So, let me explain to you what do we mean by each of the competencies. Okay. Number one, when you talk about the technical competencies, these are specific knowledge required to perform the job effectively. No? So this normally is related to a particular industry or profession and may include the following, no? Such as examples. You have proficiency in using a specific tool, a software, or an equipment. So that's a technical competency. Next is the knowledge of industry-specific regulation and best practices. So kasama yan sa technical competency. And as well as familiarity with specialized terminology or concepts. Okay? So these are technical competencies. Most jobs have technical competencies. So even HR, meron siya mga technical competencies that we have to know if we are to be considered an HR professional. And that's why seminars and trainings and certifications are there for us to be able to possess such technical competencies. Okay? So that's technical competency. Next is the behavioral competencies. Behavioral competencies, also known as your soft skills or interpersonal skills, refers to your attitude, your behavior, or personal attributes. And these competencies are often transferable across different industries and professions. So what are some very common behavioral competencies? No? One is, of course, communication. Communication is the ability to convey information clearly, concisely, and persuasively, both in oral and in writing. So that's communication. So malaki yan. That's why that behavioral competency of communication is one of the areas that we should be able to train and develop our leaders. Okay? Second example is teamwork. No? The ability to work collaboratively with others to achieve the shared goal. So that's another behavioral competencies, no? Teamwork is a difficult skill to develop, but if you look into persons with teamwork skill, that is a good sign that that person might be a potential supervisor. No, because if the person is able to influence and persuade people to follow him or to follow directions or actions, then that person has the potential to become a supervisor or a leader. Okay, that's an example of teamwork. No, third is adaptability. No, that's the ability to adjust to new situations, embrace change, and learn from experience. So that's adaptability. For some people, itong competency nito medyo mababa. No? But as you grow into your profession, as you mature in it, your adaptability competency will improve. Okay? Definitely embracing change is part of adaptability. No? So those are examples of our behavioral competencies. Okay? The third one, as I've mentioned, would be your core competency. Okay? Core competencies are, again, the unique capabilities that will provide the organization with the competitive advantage in the marketplace. So what are some examples of core competency? Okay. One list that we could give is innovation. So innovation would be the ability of the company to consistently develop new products, services, or processes that will set it apart from our competitors. So that's innovation. That's a core competency. Second is customer service. No? The company's ability to provide exceptional service, support, and responsiveness to its customers. So that's, again, another core competency of a particular organization. And finally, operational efficiency. The company's ability to streamline its operations and reduce costs while maintaining high quality products or services. Okay? So these are, again, your set of core competencies. No? And again, let me just pause here for a while. No? Again, let me just remind you that this material that I'm presenting will be given to you as part of your attendance in this webinar. Okay? You will get the full copy of this deck that I'm presenting to you as part of participating in our webinar for this afternoon. Okay? So yeah, so that's just an announcement for everyone. Now, the question is, now that we know what our competencies, so alam na natin that we have technical, we have the behavioral, and we have the core competencies. Now, the question is, why have competencies become important for the modern HR? So let's go per function or per area. Okay, let's start with talent attraction and selection. For talent attraction and selection, identification and assessing competencies with job candidates will help organizations make an informed hiring decision. Okay? So kailangan alam na rin natin yung competencies kasi otherwise, if we don't know the competencies that we're looking for in a candidate, it would be hard for us to justify why this person would be a good hire or a quality hire. By selecting candidates with the right competencies, companies can ensure they have the talent needed to excel in their respective industries and meet their strategic goals. So that's the reason why importante yung competencies na binanggit natin. For the modern HR, no, hindi na tayo pwedeng magsabi na hindi ko alam yung competencies. So we have to know what competencies are. And this example, okay? Another example would be for performance management. No? So performance management, applying a competency-based performance management will allow organizations to evaluate employees based on an objective criteria, ensuring that evaluations are fair, transparent, and consistent. No? I would always encourage performance appraisals to be composed of both the results and also the behavior. Okay? What's the purpose of that? No? When you talk about performance appraisal, it's important to focus on what would be the results that is needed. No? Kasi kailangan may objective measure for the performance management. Pagdating naman sa behavioral factors, that's where you can put in the competencies that I've mentioned. Okay? So there are different competencies, particularly for staff, rank and file level, as well as supervisory and managerial function. Okay? If you're going to design performance appraisal for executives or managers, I would probably encourage you to use yung tinatawag nating behavior anchored rating scale. Okay? So, yung bars na tinatawag natin will enable you or will enable the rater to have a way to assign the rating based on a certain behavior for that person. And that now enables the performance appraisal to become developmental. Okay? So that's the purpose why competencies are important for the modern HR. Okay? So that's the second example. Now, third example, for employee development. For employee development, focusing on competencies enable the organization to develop and design effective training and development programs. Okay? To, again, address specific gaps and enhance employee capability. So again, the approach can lead to improved employee performance, increased job satisfaction, and better retention. Remember, employee development is the long-term perspective of the company in terms of developing potential leaders for certain positions. No? So remember, the difference between training and development, training is job specific, it is current, it is something that we do to enhance the skill of a certain employee. No? Employee development, on the other hand, is the long-term perspective, meaning is the person or does the person have the potential to be able to move from one position to the other or higher position, then the company needs to develop them. Okay? If that's what the person is providing or offering to the company, then employee development should be provided to our employees. Okay? So again, that's the reason, again, third reason why competencies have become important for the modern HR. Okay? Another, which is very connected with employee development, is succession planning. No? Succession planning plays a crucial role. No? So, yung competencies natin, identification is needed for us to identify sino yung may potential for leadership and advancement within the organization. By understanding the required competencies for different roles, HR can create effective succession plans and ensure continued success and growth for the organization. Kasi because of certain factors like attrition or turnover, kapag walang succession plan yung company, what happens normally for any organization, they tend to be able to look outside or externally for talents. But it's important that as HR, dapat alam natin na we can prepare people for certain advancement. No? So kailangan mag-set tayo ng competencies. Ano ba yung hinahanap natin for potential leaders? And because of that, no, makikita natin by creating a succession plan, no, yung ating pagiging strategic partner, nagagawa natin kasi natutulungan natin yung business to have available and ready talent when it's needed. Okay? So succession planning revolves around competencies. So that's why, again, bakit naging importante yung competencies for the modern HR. Okay? Of course, workforce planning allows organization to align their human capital with their strategic objectives. No? By, again, analyzing of competencies of the workforce and comparing them with the competencies required to achieve organizational goal, HR can make informed decisions about, di ba, ang planning kasi nakakatulong yan sa staffing, sa training, and resource allocation. Kapag wala tayong workforce planning, we become very reactive as HR. No? Ibig sabihin kung ano lang yung sabihin sa atin ng boss natin, we become very connected with that. No? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's wrong. But if we don't plan for what's coming for our employees, no, we will only be as effective. No? So kailangan yung ating workforce planning, ginagawa natin yan. Again, workforce planning is not a one-time activity. It's a constant activity that we do in the organization. It is subject to change. Pwedeng nagbabago tayo. For example, nag-forecast tayo pero hindi naman tama yung forecast natin. So we just need to adjust. Okay? So in that case, workforce planning is something that we do inside the company. And may kinalaman ang competencies doon pag sinasabi natin yung workforce. Kasi ang workforce planning is, again, it's a combination of the quantitative and the qualitative aspect of workforce. So that means how many do I need and also what qualities of people do I need. Kaya dapat it's a combination of quantitative tsaka qualitative ang workforce planning. Hindi lang puro numero yan. kailangan mo rin tingnan ano yung competencies na kailangan ng mga tao mo. Okay? So that's again why competencies are important. Okay? Next is organizational culture and employee engagement. No? Again, a focus on competencies will help you create a culture of continuous learning and development within your organization. Employees who feel supported in their growth and development are more likely to be engaged, motivated, and committed to the organization. I truly agree with this, no? Because ako naniniwala ako dun sa engagement where you provide that kind of sincere support, no, for the employees' needs. No? That's why yung culture natin should be really focusing on continuous learning. No? Hindi porket alam mo na to, you're satisfied already. By providing learning opportunities, developmental programs, no, dapat matuto yung ating mga employees. So again, that's where competencies will become important. Okay? Finally, adaptability and agility. In today's fast-paced, dynamic business environment, organizations need to be agile and adaptable to remain competitive. And we all know this. Competency-based HR practices enable the organizations to identify the skills and capabilities required to respond effectively to changes in the market, technology, or ensuring that we can pivot and innovate as needed. Okay? Again, adaptability and agility is really part of the agenda natin right now because somehow, because of our experience in the pandemic, alam natin that we have to adapt, we have to be agile. No? That's why whatever practices that we have years ago, no, we have to be able to reconsider now if it's still applicable for us. Okay? So adaptability and agility revolves around competencies. That's why, again, competencies have become important for the modern HR. Okay? Now, let me share to you, no, on the practice side, ito yung tinatawag na a sample of the competency model, no less presented by Dave Ulrich. Dave Ulrich is considered in the HR circle to be considered to be a guru. No? So, siya yung tinatawag na guru of HR. So, let me share this example lang with you, no, na ginamit niya and pinublish niya sa book. No? For him, one of the centerpiece of his competency model is yung concept niya ng credible activist. Okay? So, in this case, the HR professional should be a trusted advisor and respected by the organization. Yun yung pinaka key point niya pagdating sa competency ng HR. Okay? And how do we do that, no? In a nutshell, sabi nga natin, para maging credible activist tayo sa HR, we need to have the following. No? So again, these are competency-based. We have trust and credibility, communication, as I've mentioned earlier, business acumen, building relationship, results orientation, and as well as advocacy. Okay? So yan yung sinasabi niya. And I encourage you to look into that. No? Kasi meron siyang book about this. No? So I'd like you to search it in the internet and look for the book about the HR competency model by Dave Ulrich. Okay? So again, that's on the side of the practice of HR. Okay, so this will be my last portion of the presentation. So I hope you're still with me, no? Let me just check. Are you still with me? So Amy, can you do a check with our participants? Are they still there?
And we'd like to invite pala everyone, no, to put in any questions that they may have about HR or about this topic that we're discussing. So please put them on the chat box. And those on our Facebook page, you're welcome to put in your questions on the comment section so that we can answer them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. No. So again, no. Just to check, no. So I hope we're all enjoying this particular webinar for the information, the knowledge that I'm sharing with you. Now, let me go towards having an application. No? So let's try to apply whatever we have learned so far dun sa mga competencies na discuss natin. Okay. Let's start with how HR skills can be applied in terms of communication. Okay. So paano natin pwedeng gamitin? HR professionals can use communication skills to provide clear and concise information to employees, managers, and other stakeholders. No? So this could be applied in the case of delivering a training session on HR policies and procedures, no? How about explaining employee benefit packages to employees or delivering performance review, no? So in those examples that I've mentioned, dito natin mapapakita yung ating communication skills, okay? So make sure that when you do such thing like delivering training sessions, conducting orientation and onboarding, gagamitin mo yung communication mo. No, kapag nag-explain ka ng employee benefits, no? So kailangan marunong ka mag-explain ng employee benefits or even deliver performance review kung kinakailangan mong magbigay ng performance evaluation sa isang employee. So that's where communication skills can be applied. Okay? So that's one example. Second, conflict resolution. So in conflict resolution, HR professionals can use it to mediate disputes between employees or between employees and management. So this can be to address issues such as workplace harassment. Okay? So kailangan kung meron nag-report ng workplace harassment, kailangan i-apply natin yung due process. In that case, we have to learn how to hear not just from one side, but on another side. Okay? Another one is employee grievance. No? If an employee sends to you or talks to you about an employee grievance, what are you supposed to do with it? No? Because sometimes yung grievances ng employees could be the starting point of really the conflict between HR and also the managers. So kailangan alam natin kung paano mag-handle ng employee grievances. Okay? Or even yung conflicts between team members. Kunyari, merong hindi nagkakasundo na mga team members or employees inside the department. So what can we do about it? We have to learn how to do conflict resolution. Okay? So again, that's another skill set na pwede nating ma-apply pagdating sa HR. Okay? So that's another example of conflict resolution. Third is employment laws and regulations. No? HR professionals will have to use their knowledge of employment laws and regulations to ensure that the organization is in compliance with legal requirements. Okay? They may use their knowledge to develop HR policies and procedures that again comply with legal requirements. So remember, when you're creating HR policies, no, ang pinaka-reference mo would be the labor code, no, because the labor code provides you the minimum stand. Remember, HR policies are not just revolving around laws. It should also revolve around the rules that the company can apply. So, ibig sabihin nun, pwede rin siyang maglagay ng mga certain prerogatives ng company. Okay? So, again, all of these are part of how your HR skill can be applied. So, yung ating employment laws and regulations, no, should be something that we should be able to apply. Okay? Ayan. So that's, again, another example of how the HR skill can be applied. Okay? Strategic thinking. No? HR professionals should use their strategic thinking skills to develop HR strategies that will support the organizational goals and objectives. No? So, paano natin pwedeng gawin to? Kailangan alam natin kung ano yung mga areas for improvement. So, one of the things that you can do as an HR professional is to ask for feedback from your department heads, from your employees. So, anong area yung pwedeng ma-improve natin sa function natin in terms of HR practices? Okay? We have to be open to people kasi I always believe that for you to become a strategic thinker, kailangan open ka, no, to ideas. Kasi kapag close ka sa ideas, paano ka magiging strategic thinker kung pinaniniwalaan mo lang yung idea mo? Okay? You need to be able to collect ideas from different sources. Okay? Also, develop programs that will support the development and retention of high-performing employees. Okay? So, kailangan mag-isip tayo anong pwede natin gawin para ma-retain natin yung mga employees natin. Okay? And at the same time, we have to identify ways of streamlining our HR processes to increase efficiency. So, remember, when you talk about efficiency, no, that's minimizing the wastage that you have in the company. So, remember, para maging strategic ka, no, sa company, kailangan mapakita mo sa management that you are utilizing the resources properly and that you're minimizing the wastage of resources in the company. That's one way of becoming a strategic thinker in HR. Okay? Talent management is also another example or area where HR professionals will use their talent management skill to attract, to retain, and develop top talent. No? So, saan nila pwedeng gamitin to? Kailangan marunong kang mag-develop ng job description for your best candidate. No? Marunong kang mag-develop ng performance management program. Okay? That will support growth and development. Or, you can also design training and development programs that will enhance employee skills and capabilities. No? So these are areas that you can apply your HR skills. So maraming areas that we can really, again, showcase what we're capable of sa company, especially on the aspect of talent management. Okay? Another example would be data analysis. So in data analysis, HR professionals will use their data analysis to collect, analyze, and use the data to make informed HR decision. Okay? Pwede natin gamitin yan by learning how to develop employee surveys that will identify areas for improvement. Okay? I remember I've conducted this several years ago kung paano mag-conduct or design employee surveys. So we might actually have that again for this year. No? Analyze employee performance data. No? Anong ibig sabihin ng rating of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? No? Wag lang tayong basta magsa-summarize. Kailangan i-analyze natin anong nangyayari doon sa employee performance natin. Okay? And how is that connected to the training and development needs? Okay? Because remember, no, ang performance will tell you whether you have to conduct training for that employee. Okay? Kasi hindi naman lahat alam ng employee. Kailangan mag-provide ka or mag-conduct ka ng mga training programs that will be relevant for that employees. No? So, paano magagamitin yung HR Information System or HRIS to analyze data on what? Employee demographics. No? Yung, di ba yung demographics includes gender, saan yung address nila, ano yung educational background nila, and so on and so forth. No? So, all of these are, again, data that we have in our fingertips because we have an HRIS. Kailangan lang alam natin mag-analyze ng data. Okay? So, I think more of this, no? Ito yung dapat ma-develop ni HR in terms of the HR skill set. Okay? Another, of course, is the ethical behavior. No? So HR professionals should use their ethical behavior to ensure that employees are treated fairly and equitably. Okay? So paano natin pwedeng gamitin to? The skill of maintaining confidentiality when dealing with sensitive employee information. So definitely, dapat wag kang masyadong marites or ang dami mong kinakalat na information. Bawal yan sa HR. Okay? Treat employees with respect and professionalism. Very important, no, na dapat marunong tayong gumalang doon sa ating mga employees. No? We should give them the proper respect and conduct ourselves as professionals. No? And of course, ensure that all HR practices are conducted in a fair and transparent manner. No? Again, being fair and fair with people is a difficult task, but definitely you will learn this in the field of HR. Okay? Ayan. So, again, why are these skills important for the HR function? This will be the last part of my talk about the application. So, let's talk about this. Okay. So, why are this important? Yung mga skills and competencies that I've mentioned. Number one is, of course, to ensure compliance. Okay. So, HR professionals must comply with a wide range of employment laws and regulations. By, again, possessing strong skills and knowledge in this area, you can ensure that organizations are in compliance with legal requirements and will avoid costly legal disputes. Kasi mahal magkaroon ng mga employee cases, no? It runs by the hundreds, thousands, or even millions if ever. That's why if we can avoid that by ensuring compliance, this will be important for us. Okay? Second is attracting and retaining talent. Now, HR professionals must be skilled in attracting and retaining top talent for their organization. So, by possessing strong skills in areas such as recruitment, performance management, training and development, and compensation, they can help ensure that organizations will have the talent that they need to succeed as an organization. So again, that's why it's important. No? Third is to drive organizational performance. So HR professionals are responsible for driving performance in organizations. No? How do we do that? by developing and implementing effective HR strategies. No? And when we possess the skill, such as strategic thinking, data analysis, and talent management, you can develop programs and policies that will support your organizational strategic goal. Okay. Next is supporting employee development. HR professionals must support the growth and development of employees within the organization. And by possessing the skills and competencies in coaching, mentoring, and counseling, they can help employees achieve their full potential and contribute to the organizational success. Now, that's why, if you notice here, no, the list that I've been giving you, na nakikita natin kung ano yung mga kailangan nating ma-develop as an HR professional. Kasi importante para sa atin ito. Okay? Also, to build a positive relationship. No, bakit importante? HR professionals must build positive relationship with employees, with managers, and other stakeholders. No? And by possessing a strong communication, conflict resolution, and relationship building skills, they can create collaborative and productive workplace environment that will support the organizational goal. So those are the reasons why it is important. No? And that sums up my talk about the essential HR roles, responsibilities, as well as the skills and competencies. No? So I hope that you've enjoyed this particular presentation as much as I did in terms of sharing it with you at this webinar. No? So at this point, I would like now to open the floor for any question, comment, or reaction from our participant. Okay? Yan. So again, you'll be receiving this handout with you. So gamitin natin siya as a guide for the HR professional. Dapat meron kayong ma-identify saan ako dapat mag-develop for the year 2024. Okay? Amy, go ahead.
Ayan, okay. Again, thank you very much to everyone, that's especially those who are inside Zoom. No? So we have about 90 plus attendees for the free webinar. And thank you very much for staying. And those also on our Facebook page for joining us on this webinar. So let me go to there's a couple of questions here that came in. So I'll start with the question from Julian. She says, hi, do you have any suggestion to what tests must be administered to rank and file employees for IQ tests and psychological tests? Where can I find it?
Okay. That's a very good question. Although it's very specific, no? If I may say. Yung mga test natin, definitely meron tayong mga online test na pwedeng i-recommend for that one. No? So, you can reach out to us, by the way. No? You can email to us kung ano yung mga ano. But definitely, I would suggest na of course, for rank and file employees, yung skills and aptitude are tests na dapat i-conduct natin. Okay? But for supervisors and managers, importante yung mga leadership test or personality test. No? I encourage you to use yung one test that I found very effective is a supervisory practices inventory, yung SPI, especially for the supervisor, para maka-identify ka ng potential supervisor. Yan. So, for other tests, I can recommend further. No? Medyo mahabang discussion yan. Okay.
All right. So make sure that you're tuned in and you're following our Facebook page, Talent Reach. No? So we always share some insights, even recommendations. And of course, we also put in our announcements for our programs there. The second question came from Danny Rose. This is a common question that you always get. Now, sir, I am confused now with the difference between skills and competencies. Can you elaborate the difference?
Well, technically, when you look at competencies and skills, it has a sort of parang in Tagalog parang nagko-cross ano siya. It crosses each other. So that means the bigger term kasi is competencies pag sinabi natin, no? Skills kasi has to do with something with yung specific thing that you can based on the knowledge. Kunyari, recruiting, no? Recruiting is a skill, 'di ba? So it's something that you do in HR, no? Pero in terms of, let's say, the competency of let's say oral communication, for example, magkakaiba yan, may certain level. So that's why doon mo makikita yung differences pag ano. So when you do the actual work of HR, doon mo makikita kung ano yung pagkakaiba ng skills and competencies.
And I hope we were able to answer that question for you, Danny Rose. Okay, there's also there's an inquiry here from Miss Mary Cruz. Definitely will be reaching out to you via email. So wait for that email so that we can provide you the information that you need. And there's a follow-up question from Julianne. She says, for a fresh grad, what position do you recommend to start off? HR associate or HR assistant? Which is better?
Okay, I would always recommend if you are a fresh grad, I encourage you to start with talent acquisition or recruitment. No? Because the reason why I say that is because recruitment or talent acquisition is the gatekeeper. So meaning that you get to know the employees who are coming in to the organization. So that's a good training for a fresh grad. So otherwise, no, depending on the areas, no. So there are different functions of HR. That's why sabi nga natin, HR is quite diverse, no? So maraming functions that you can learn. So that's why it's really a profession. That means that it will take you a lifetime to really understand all the functions of HR. Yeah. I think we have Ruby who's raising her hand. Sorry. So let's can we acknowledge her?
Yes,
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead,
Hi,
Ruby.
Sir Ronnie and
Hi,
Miss
Ruby.
Ivy.
Yeah.
Happy New Year po.
Yeah.
Okay. Matagal po ako nawala. So
Uh-huh.
I miss this kind of webinar. Anyway, sir,
Yeah.
siguro just sharing kasi
Yeah.
kahit matagal na po ako sa HR, palagi din ako minsan nalilito sa competencies and skills.
Yeah.
Then I usually go back to my learning when I was in
Mm.
semiconductor
Yeah.
industry. That was part of my early training in HR kasi matagal po
Yeah.
ako doon eh.
Yeah.
I worked in a company for almost 11 years, no, semiconductor, and I learned a lot. So parang binabalikan ko po yung paghihimay ng
Yeah.
competencies and skills. So
Yeah.
sabi niyo nga, sir, I agree that competency is a more generic category or
Mm.
term. Kasi
Yeah.
po, when we did our job description in that company, we have this competence portion and it's
Mm.
further broken down into knowledge,
Mm.
skills, and
Yeah.
attitude. So
Yeah.
parang competencies yung bigger and then nakaano siya ng knowledge, what is
Yeah.
the required knowledge for the
Yeah.
position, what are
Yeah.
the required skills, and what
Yeah.
are the required attitude or behavior. So
Yeah.
bumabalik po palagi ako doon pag medyo nalilito
Yeah.
ako at nag-o-overlap. Then
Yeah.
it gives me perspective na mas klaro
Yeah.
na ayun, mas ano siya. And then yung we could further divide it also into technical knowledge, 'di
Yes.
ba? Yung
That's
knowledge
why
is
that's
gano'n.
why I explained yung technical and then the
Yes po.
behavioral and then the core. So
Yes po.
that's one way that we can
Yes.
divide the competencies. Yeah.
Yes po. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Ayan po. Just sharing with the team also. Kasi
Okay.
we even conducted a project in that with Mercer po dati.
Mm,
With
yeah.
Mercer Consulting. Nag-ano
Mm-hmm.
po kami ng competency dictionary
Yeah.
in that company po.
Yeah.
Kaya, yes. But that was a long time ago, sir. So, more than 15
Ayan.
years ago. Pero palagi ko pong nababalikan pag mga gantong
Yeah.
discussion because I
Yeah.
learned a lot from those experiences.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Ruby,
you,
for your sharing.
Ruby, for
You're
sharing.
welcome, sir. Thank you din po.
Thank you. Let me also acknowledge a comment from, of course, our client. No? At ang ating loyal attendee also, apart from Ruby, si Miss Jen. Okay, she says, I agree that data analytics is now a key competency for HR professionals as we deal with a lot of data. Gone are the days when HR was viewed as a soft field, especially if we are expected to present to top management. A very good
Yeah.
complement to data analytics would be the skill of storytelling, to translate data into a narrative that's easier to digest and can possibly get HR more buy-ins. Yan. Thank you very much, Miss Jen, for sharing
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I'd like to to add to that, no. So, again, yung HR analytics na sinasabi natin, I agree with what she said na by looking at the data, we should be able to generate information and create a story, no? Because stories become very powerful, especially if you use data to back it up, no? So, mas nakaka-convince ng top management kapag meron tayong skill na ganon, no? That's why I think for this year, for me, even for me, as an HR professional for about 23 years. So that's one of the areas that I'm going to work on. No? So again, I encourage everyone dito sa mga shinare ko na mga list of competencies and skills. For example, you need to be able to choose kung ano yung mga skill set, no, that you would be developing for this year, and not just for this year, but on the upcoming years. Okay, as I've said, I've given you this list of competencies and skill set para meron kayong guide kung ano yung dapat nating ma-develop. So, we have to have that constant yearning to learn, no? Because there's a lot more things that we can actually learn from, different experiences, no? It might be seminars, it might be a mentor, or it might be somebody who can teach us something that we don't know yet. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to our last question before we wrap up our program for today. So the last question is from Sherina Nora. Her question is, with the rise of AI technology, how do we ensure that we keep our jobs and keep with the trends? Also, how do we integrate AI in our work? Very interesting question. Thank you very much, Ms. Sherina.
Ayan. Very good, no? So thank you for that question, no? And this is just my own personal opinion about it, but I always believe and I'm optimistic that AI, just like, no, parang for me kasi ang perspective ko is, no, there was a time that there was the Y2K. If you for those who will remember that, yung 'di ba magkakaroon ng computer and magkakaroon ng rebooting or something, no? And then of course the internet came. So AI is just another wave of development for us. So I believe na definitely we cannot be replaced by computers or robots. So robots are there to enable, to enrich our lives, but it is not there to replace us. No? So we still have the capacity to be able to do jobs, for example, that robots or computers cannot do. Okay? So ang kailangan lang is maintindihan natin what AI is all about, no? So just like how we understood the internet, no, etc., and all the other advancement, no, I always believe na 1 or 2 years now from this point, matututunan na natin. Siguro after 2 years, parang normal na sa atin yung AI or something, right? So it's just a matter of us having to learn what it is all about, and dapat ang perspective natin is how can we use that technology to our benefit or to my advantage? Yun yung dapat thinking natin sa AI.
All right. So with that, we'd like to thank everyone for staying, for putting in their questions, and for sharing their comments, even their own experiences, and knowledge. So thank you very much. Again, please follow us, and we'll be announcing the more details about the upcoming workshop that we're having on March 22. This is related to our webinar today. So we're bringing back one of our premium signature program, which is the skills workshop for the modern HR. So especially for those who would like to revisit their skills or enhance, and also those who are new to the role, who would like to learn more about their or to improve on their skills, we invite you to join us in this workshop, the first paid workshop that we're having on March. So again, have a good week, rest of the week to everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again on our next webinar. Have a good night to everyone. Stay safe.